the founders of the Meghnad Desai Academy of Mr. Karan Shah, the CEO of the Academy, Dr. Bhagyashree Dapke, the academic coordinator, and all the distinguished participants of this program who are graduating today, their family members, if they've been able to join on this video conference convocation ceremony, another first that the world will have to start getting used to, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I'd like to take this opportunity to congratulate the graduates who are going to come out of this academy this year and serve the nation, serve the world in different walks of life with the rigorous training that you have received in this very prestigious institution. I'm sure all of you have put in a lot of effort, a lot of dedication. There must have been passion in the way you were taught, the way you learned. And I'm sure you have all applied yourself to very, very rigorous standards that Lord Meghnad Desai just referred to and completed this course despite the imminent and very strong threat that Lord Meghnad Desai has put upon all of you. In fact, before I came onto the ceremony, I was almost going to request you that now that we'll be having a lot of online courses, I was going to consider whether I could also apply and join the academy to hone my skills in economics. But after hearing Lord Desai, I think I'm having second thoughts. I'm scared that he'll throw me out of the institute and then report all over the world that the minister has been thrown out of the Meghnad Desai Academy for lack of attendance in the class, for not completing the course in time, for not being a diligent student, etc., etc. But clearly, each one of you has been a good student. Each one of you has put in the right effort to graduate today. And I compliment both the academy for the strong rigor that you have been able to introduce in the study of economics in India, and to all of the students, I'm sure, who will take this knowledge and serve society, serve the world. In fact, I would like to also compliment all the parents who have joined us today. As a parent of two children, both of whom have done economics, one as a major, one as a minor, I know that families tend to get involved, particularly when examinations are close, and this year even more so, because the exams would have been probably online. The last few months of the semester would have been online. And the families would have contributed to make sure there's peace at home, there's quiet around the student, his or her meals are served on the table in time. Maybe families would have been mothers would have been at the receiving end of the child screaming that don't disturb me when I'm sitting in front of the computer, or don't be seen on the screen, my class fellows can see you. We've gone through all of that ever since the lockdown in March. But kudos to the family members, kudos to all the faculties and staff who have used innovative and creative ways to continue the program and help each one of you graduate today. I would also like to apologize to Lord Meghnad Desai and to all of you that while we were to do this a couple of days ago, a very important meeting on a subject of strategic importance came up at the same time at 4:30 that evening. And I regret that I was not able to fulfill my commitment of the convocation ceremony that day. I did offer that you can do it without me, or I'll get some other minister to stand in. But it was gracious of the organizers to postpone the program, and I'll be ever grateful to you for that, because it gives me a chance to interact with your students. The story of human progress, in fact, through ages, has shown us that whenever there was a crisis, economies, countries have emerged victorious. But when you study what happened in past crises, and I would request some of your researchers to do some background checks whether I've been advised right or wrong. But I believe that in the past, whenever a major crisis like coronavirus has hit the world, or when there's been a very major economic crisis or a health crisis, countries which focused on lives in the long run did better in terms of economics. And countries which focused purely on livelihoods and economies in the long run suffered a setback. Now, I had my own son study the Spanish flu of 1918 to 1920. And we found that those countries which focused on protecting lives, saving lives, tended to perform better in the revival than those countries which were purely focused on their economy and business. It would make an interesting research project. Maybe Mr. Ranade also could do a little background checks. But this is what I was able to find. Even say the states of the United States of America, we found a difference in their economies post the Spanish flu, depending on how well they responded to saving lives during the Spanish flu pandemic. As economists say, the most reliable predictor of future behavior is the past behavior. And it may be interesting to see what has happened to economies around the world in such crisis situations in the past. And I was trying to study some other examples of great leaders who created their magnus opus moment, their moment of glory during tumultuous times. One of whom that comes to mind is Chanakya himself, one of the pioneers of political science and economics in India, whose ideas continue to guide at least many of us even today. If you see the legendary Arthashastra was written after the successful establishment of the Maurya Empire, which was through a period of great difficulties. He had overcome very powerful enemies, countless obstacles. Based on his experiences, he developed the Arthashastra. Even in technology, after every world war, there's been a technological revolution. There's been an expansion of newer technologies. After every period of crisis, after the 1990s, where we had economics around the world facing trouble, we had the boom in the technology field, in the software and development of computing technologies. After the 2008 global financial meltdown, we've seen the world going more and more digital, and powerful tools coming into the way we live and the way we work, which has brought in a kind of greater degree of risk assessment, a greater degree of focus on how the economies of the world have reshaped themselves post the 2008 meltdown. I think history has a lot of lessons for all of us to learn from. And while there's no shortage of pessimism in the world, even in India sometimes, I personally believe my Prime Minister when he says that this crisis actually provides India a great opportunity for the future. And those opportunities are there before us every single day as we see what's happening in and around us. Those who remain positive, those who have the confidence of succeeding, those who want to go this distance with the courage of that they will succeed, I am sure will not let this crisis go waste. Our own government, through the Atmanirbhar Bharat package that has already been announced, through several initiatives which are already before the people, and many, many more that are on the drawing board and will be unfurled in the days and months to come is working to use this opportunity to strengthen the nation's resolve to not only become self-sufficient, but also an important stakeholder in the global economy. In fact, just to make sure that nobody here misunderstands the concept of Atmanirbhar Bharat, I would like to place on record, Atmanirbhar Bharat is not inward looking. When we talk of Atmanirbhar Bharat or a self-reliant India, we are not closing India's doors to the world. In fact, we want to open them wider for global engagement. But when we do that global engagement, we want to prepare India to engage with the rest of the world from a position of strength, with confidence, with quality products, with cost competitive services and goods and merchandise, so that we are not a weak-kneed economy that's totally dependent on other countries to provide our regular needs, so that we are able to cash the big 1.3 billion people market for Indian businesses also, wherever we are able to work with from a position of strength, from global competitiveness and high quality products. We would like to encourage Indian industry to develop high quality standards. We would like Indian industry to be competitive in international trade, not on the clutches of subsidies and government support, but on the strength of their technology, on the strength of leveraging their productivity gains, strength of leveraging India's own position, where I'm sure we have many areas where we can compete with the world on equal terms. There may still be areas where we need technology from abroad. There'll be many areas where we will not be competitive. We may not have the raw materials, we may not have the minerals, we may not be able to produce the same goods to that scale to make it competitive. There will be products where we will have to continue to import. India is not against imports per se. India is not closing its doors to global engagement. India is expanding them wider. We want to see where we can get economies of scale, technology coming in, where we can leverage this aspiration of 135 crore Indians better, and where we can use our own people and our own strengths to provide jobs, to provide work to those teeming millions who are left behind in the economic progress that the country has made. After all, we would like to see millions of students get high quality training. We would like to see millions of youngsters get prepared, get work ready to be able to contribute to India and the rest of the world. This new education policy that was announced a few days ago focuses on preparing every Indian to be a productive asset to the growth of India, to the development of the economy of India. We want to not just create graduates, we want to create people with skills, vocational training, aptitude-based development of individuals, so that what he is most equipped to learn, what he is most interested to learn, is what he will be most equipped to learn and will be prepared to serve the national need, to serve the requirements of the world. COVID has brought sudden changes upon all of us, but we have not been caught unawares. We have ample information and we need to reimagine, we need to redesign, and we need to reinvent the way we work in India to face the challenges of the future. In fact, in terms of global engagement, the world is looking at trusted partners. India has a never before opportunity to become a trusted partner in global supply chains. And that is only going to happen when we start producing quality products, goods and services, when we bring economies of scale and we prepare our people to do their job better, to focus on quality, to focus on high productivity. And I think it's enjoined upon all of us, the privileged sections of society. And I say privileged sections because very few people get an opportunity to study at the Meghnad Desai Academy. But we are the ones who are going to come out of this academy with the skills to develop a better future for millions and billions around the world. We are the ones who have got the opportunity to get skills and this rigorous training that Lord Desai was just talking about, which will help us to train millions going forward. And I hope each one of you will take the necessary effort to look at this great opportunity that you got at Meghnad Desai Academy. The way you have been prepared with technical and skills to understand different aspects of economics. Because as my late father used to tell me and train me when I was a young kid, sabse bada rupaiya. Every action of yours in life can be brought down to money terms, can be calculated in rupee paisa. And every action can be benchmarked to make sure that what you are doing has a cost benefit to it. In fact, the meeting which delayed me by 10-15 minutes was largely around understanding the cost benefit of a certain railway project, which I was trying to train my colleagues to assess in using more modern techniques and modern tools, rather than the way traditional projects were assessed in the Indian Railways. And that's why it took me a little more time, because it needs a complete mindset change. It needs a change in the way we think in government about projects. It has a social cost, it has an economic cost, but both can be valued. And each one of us in our chosen area, wherever you are going to go and serve, will have to assess every action of the organization you will work for, be it government or otherwise. You will have to assess it in terms of what is good for India, what is good for the people of India. Exciting times ahead of us, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen. Things are moving very rapidly, not only for India, but for the whole world. But whether we will emerge stronger, bolder, and ready to reclaim India's position as a global leader is in the hands of all my young friends who are graduating today. You have to choose the destiny ahead of you. After all, as was said, when circumstances change, are you going to remain where you were, or are you going to change with times? I believe we all have to change with times. Times have changed. Your academic method of teaching and study has changed. Your way of working in the future is going to change. But with that change, let's also look at what change we can bring to our wonderful nation. What change we can bring to those teeming millions who have remained marginalized socially, economically, for generations, who haven't seen the good part of life for centuries. Let us all pledge ourselves that we will work with this mission, with this spirit, to contribute to society. We will ensure that as an economist trained at the Meghnad Desai Academy, we will put in every little bit of knowledge that we have gained for a better future for India, for every Indian. We will think, we'll study, we'll observe, we'll draw useful conclusions from everything that comes before us. And we'll go around the world holding the Indian flag high. Wherever we will work, we will have at the back of our mind that we have our nation to contribute to. We have to give back some part of our life, some part of our knowledge, some part of our training, some part of all that you receive from your nation back to society, back to serve those who did not get a chance to probably board a train and come into the city, get high quality education, get opportunity of working in the modern world get computers, get iPads, get smartphones, get digital libraries. There are millions out there who've been deprived of all of this. Each one of the graduates today, I hope, will contribute to making the lives of those lesser privileged sections of society somewhat better, and not just look upon them as a resource, but will look upon them as a resource to be trained to contribute and be more productive, and look upon each one of them as a brother or sister who deserves better. I hope I have not made it very, very highly spiritual or aspirational, but I genuinely believe that those sections of society who have received these privileges have to contribute back. It is only then that our nation can progress. If I may quote from Swami Vivekananda, we are what our thoughts have made us. So take care about what you think. And I do hope in your thoughts, at the back of your mind, you will always keep thinking of those people who could not board that train and reach where you and your families have reached. Keep that back of your mind. Always remain focused. Constantly push yourself with one pointed determination to make something of yourself, but also be a useful citizen of India and the world at large. Use every power that comes in your life, every opportunity that comes in your life to become a better citizen, to serve society, to serve mankind. But today is a day of celebration. So we leave that for you to start from tomorrow. Today, go out there, celebrate. Unfortunately, you may not be able to throw your top hats into the air like a typical graduation ceremony this time around. But hopefully, things will change, things will come back to normal, and I will hope to see successful stories emerging from the Meghnad Desai Academy. I hope I can invite some of you to work in my office and help us in our mission to serve the nation. Thank you very much for this opportunity. I pray for a very, very successful journey ahead for each of you who are graduating today. And my best wishes to all those who will continue to work and study for the class of 21 and beyond. My best wishes for the future. You have miles to go before you sleep, and the Academy is going to continue to work with its alumni to make sure that every one of the alumni of this Academy becomes a good citizen of this country, of this world. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.